Hi there and welcome to the channel. My name is Kjetil, Lima Bravo for Foxtrot Hotel, and today I'm talking about one of these new on-the-air programs that's been popping up. This is Tiles on the Air, and it's something I've been trying out for a few weeks next to Parks on the Air and Summits on the Air, and it's a pretty new one. When I started this, say 2 weeks ago or something, there had been only one other activator in Europe as far as I could see, and over the few weeks after that I've seen more pop up. So that's good, it's spreading a bit. So what is it? Well, it's a program where you activate a tile or a Maidenhead grid square as the rest of us know it, and you get multipliers for doing different things in there. Of course, you get points for QSOs, but you also get points for your distance walking in, and if you go over a certain distance, you actually have to provide a GPX file, a track, showing that you went there and you walked back as well. So that's kind of interesting. You get points for elevation gain, you get the points for your QSO, so you get the points for being QRP, you get points for bringing your kids or your pets or whatever else, and you can also get the points or more points or multipliers if you, for example, have some sort of physical disability. So that makes this very accessible. So since it's a point-based system, then people who don't have the same options or opportunities will also be able to get a lot of points here. And this is fully trust-based. So it's going to be interesting to see how that turns out over time. And I really like to join this, you have to register, and in Tiles on the Air, you have to be registered before you can activate. So you can't do anything retroactively. And to register, you go to tilesontheair.com and you click the menu up here and sign in, and then you'll be able to create an account as well. Of course, I've done that already, so I'm not going to show you that part of it. So when you're signed in, you can see here there's a start activating, and you can also do view live spots. And there's a lot of information here, what the grid square is, if you don't really know what that is. Some of the multipliers, some of these have actually updated, so there's a full set of rules further in. And just how you do this. And of course there is a map. Of course, grid square map isn't that exciting, but in here, well, it will ask me if I can give it the position. Yes, I would like that. And this tile activation map, this shows all the activations that have been done. So there's some over here in the States, and then over in Europe. And when I started, only these ones down here had been done, but now you can see that there are people all over Europe doing this, and over here in Norway it's only me, and I'm over in this square here. So you can go in here and press find my location, and yeah, it shows it where I am there, and I'm in Juliet Oscar 28 Sierra uniform. As of now, I don't think there are any hunters in Europe. I would be very surprised, at least. So for now, I'll just do this together with Parks on Air, and I imagine I'll continue doing that. That's my main part of the hobby, but maybe you can just do this without as well. So when you want to spot yourself, you go here to view live spots on the main page, and you click spot yourself, and you can enter the frequency, for example 433.550, which I'm pretty sure nobody's on here, and let's do it in FM, and we can detect the location here pretty fast as well. And I'll just write a demo, and you can also then cross post via to SOTA and Parks on the Air. That doesn't always work, but this is still a young and working or growing program, so let's just try that. November Oscar 2526, and I click spot yourself, and then you see got a message here that the cross post didn't go through, but I'll spot over on the POTA webpage as well when I go over to HF, and I'm sure they get that working. You can also cross post this on Twitter, on Blue Sky, or whatever else you use. So yeah, it's a fun thing. And then I'll just go in here. You can edit it, or you can mark yourself as QRT like this. And you can see there's another guy activating here on CW. He's been on and last seen 28 minutes ago, and I think the spots expire after 30 like they do in many other programs. One question that I've heard asked quite a few times in different groups online is, well, do we need everything on the air? This is just stupid. And well, we don't need it, but it's for fun. This is deep into the hobby part of being a radio amateur. And we've had on-the-air programs since way before I was a radio amateur. You have IOTA, Islands on the Air, which I believe has been around since the 70s. Grid squares have been there for a very long time, but this is a new way of looking at it. Of course, you have summits on the air, you have flora, fauna, parks on the air, bunkers on the air, whatever else on the air, toilets on the air, of course, from Germany. So there's so many different things you can do, and this is about going out there, having fun, getting to know your equipment, and actually also being visible, showing that we as radio amateurs, we're a living group, we are doing something that's fun, that could in theory be useful, but we're out here having fun, playing around, talking to others, testing our equipment. Well, it's just fun. So that's the rant of the day, I think. But yeah, it is something we don't need, but it's something that doesn't hurt anybody either. And it's just fun. I'm gonna rig up here. I'm in a POTA, and then I'll see who I can reach. As usual, my gear here is a Yaesu FT891. I have a JPC-12 antenna, and right behind me here there's plenty of nice salt water. This is the North Atlantic, and I'll be pushing 100 watts into that. So hopefully that will be nice and usable. So I'll go rig up and see you very soon on the air. When it comes to logging, I just use PoLo as normal, and you don't really do anything other than that. When you export it, you do a full ADIF export as well, because there's no spotting or functionality for that within PoLo yet, but maybe one day it comes if this becomes bigger. And well, you just set it up for POTA, and that's about it. Park to park, Lima Bravo 4, Foxtrot Hotel. Lima Bravo 4, Foxtrot Hotel. Roger, Roger. You are 5 by 5, 5 by 5 in park. November Oscar 3, 2, 2, 6. November Oscar 3, 2, 2, 6. And park November Oscar 2, 5, 2, 6. Repeat, November Oscar 2, 5, 2, 6. Over. Same as most of the other programs. These people don't have to be in the program for you to log them. And that's a good thing, because there's no hunters that I know of in Europe for this yet, so it wouldn't have been much fun otherwise. So let's see here if I can work some of the other park-to-park stations here, or parks on the air station. CQ Parks on the Air, CQ Tiles on the Air, Lima Bravo 4, Foxtrot Hotel. CQ Parks on the Air, Tiles on the Air, Lima Bravo 4, Foxtrot Hotel. United Tango 5, United November Tango. Hello Vladimir, you are 5 by 5.
Thank you, very good afternoon. United 5 by 7, 5 by 7, Vladimir Kiev. Thank you for the contact over. Good weekend, 73 by.
That was a pretty simple activation. A bit slow at the start, but then it caught up, and I got my logs, or my QSOs in the log, and got quite a few park-to-parks as well. Always nice. But there were also very many stations I barely heard, so conditions up there today, they're not good. And of course, I'm here in this beautiful, beautiful park next to the ocean, and I get to enjoy some time outside. I'll head indoors now, and I'll show you how I upload these logs, because that is a pretty nice and smooth process. See you in a bit. So I made it home now, and I'm on Tiles on the Air on my browser at home, and I'm signed in, and you can switch here between Daywalker mode and dark mode, depending on what you enjoy. And on top here you see that there's some what's new things, and this is a special event that's going on. So in here I'll just go to activations, and I'll click new activation. Below here, by the way, you can see all of my previous activations. So new activation here, and this is a tile and a park. and I'll just import an ADIF file, and this will just pop up and you can select it, and you can see here I'll have it select the full ADIF file for these 2 parks. And that will also get the grid square, because that's of course set within the full. That's why you want the full one. So you don't have to do very much else than that. Just click next, and of course it will fill in the date and so on. I have a GPX track. I strictly don't need it. I am way below the minimal length, and there's a minimal length here of 0.4 kilometers. So I think that's 0.2 of a mile or something like that. So anything above that will basically just give you extra points. And for me it doesn't matter, but I'll import it just to show you. And that is the GPX file here. And you can see 0.13, so this is a very short walk, and there's no elevation gain. It's actually lost elevation. One thing, I did have a pretty heavy backpack, which I usually do for these activations. So I had roughly 10 kilos in my backpack, and that gives you plus 5% bonus per roughly 2.3 kilos, which I believe is 5 pounds. And then it will count the QSOs. You don't really need to add an ADIF file, but for big ones, yes, you need it. There's no FD8 or FD4, because if you do that, they count as 0.2 instead of 1. They don't really want digital operations here. And you can add some notes if you want to. And in here, you can click for bonuses. For example, QRP, activated with pets. Well, I didn't have a pet, but if I had, I could. Activated with kids and so on. And then a public activation. Yes, I was actually a public place. And there are some special activation thing here. If you, for example, have a parachute mobile or satellite. And well, I didn't do any of those today. Adaptive sport, if you, for example, use your wheelchair. A lot of interesting stuff here. Next, and you can add a pinned site if you have something, or you can go in here and write the story. So and well, I haven't written much here, and I'm probably not going to do very much with that either, but this is something that mimics a bit of what you can see in Sotlas, for those who have used that. In here you can go in and you can see the trail that somebody has walked to summit. You can see pictures they've taken and so on. So this is a good thing, and this is something I hope the new PoLo software will have as well. This is just markdown formatted for those who want to. Don't need to format, you can just write text as well. And after you saved it, you can also add photos. So click next, and there's a summary here, and then just press save. And you can see I also got a special event here since it was a Memorial Day. I believe that's the US Memorial Day. You can download the track. There's an ADIF file, and you can also go in here and I can edit it, and I could so if I wanted to add a picture, I just click here, read the activator's diary, and since it's mine, I can then go in and add edit photos. And you just click add image and you get to upload a JPEG file or whatever else. Another interesting thing is that I can still edit this activation, and you do have a 24-hour edit window, something that is kind of important, and that I believe also Parks on the Air will be coming with quite soon. So that just lessens the job for the help desk people, and it makes it easy to sort out like simple mistakes. So that was it for my introduction to Tiles on the Air. I think it's an interesting thing to do next to Summits on the Air and Parks on the Air, and I'll certainly be doing it more. Hopefully more people will get on as well, and it will just be another nice thing for people to play around with. Thank you very much for watching. 7-3.